If you are a lash extensions artist and you're thinking about becoming a trainer or educator, this video is for you. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're just new to my channel, I am Diana. I am a lash extensions artist turned educator, and this video is going to tell you everything you need to know about how to become a lash extensions educator. Now, real quickly before I get into the big meat of all this information, I want you to know that when I first began in 2009, which was ages away, information within the lash extensions industry was not readily available. In fact, everyone was so selfish with their knowledge back in the day. So everything that you needed to know about lash lengths or adhesives and where you got it was all very secretive. For example, when I decided that I wanted to learn how to do lash extensions, the person who was doing the service on me never wanted to tell me anything in terms of where they got trained, where they got their supplies from, and that really frustrated me. And you know why? Because my experience with getting lash extensions was so bad that I believed that there was something else out there that could be better in terms of what people would experience as customers. So because I had experiences that weren't very good in terms of getting the eyelash extension service done for me or to me, I decided that I wanted to be one. That was not the only reason, but it was the chief reason. I was already in the beauty industry, so I wanted to learn how to provide this service that was more professional, didn't cause any harm to any of my clients, and make sure that the work that I was doing was sustainable. So I decided to become an educator so I could teach people how to become experienced, professional, safe, and clean lash extensions artists. I wanted to produce other service providers that would provide quality lash extension services to their clients. So that was my little background on why I decided to teach people how to become lash extensions artists. Now, if you're thinking about being a lash educator so you can produce quality lash artists to uphold the lash industry and become very strong and professional, these are some of the things that I'd like you to consider before you decide that you want to join the industry in terms of being an educator. Okay, so the first thing is experience. I strongly suggest that you need to have at least 3 years under your belt before you decide to become a lash educator. And within the 3 years, it's expected that you would be working 30 to 40 hours a week. Why I say this? Well, experience teaches wisdom. You will have students coming to you asking you questions about clients' expectations or application problems and all those troubleshooting situations that you would have to answer at the click of a button. There are different ways that you can teach this, and you have to understand what your strengths are in terms of communicating a certain topic or a technique or a procedure within the lash industry so your students understand clearly and can follow through in their own business. The second thing that you need to look at is where you are going to get trained. Now, even though you have the experience of 3 years or more of how to apply eyelash extensions, you also need certain qualifications that will enable you to be safe teaching this topic. Now, depending on what country or state you are in, everywhere will have their different type of qualification that you need to follow to make your business and your curriculum credible. Now, before I go into detail with this, please remember that in the lash extensions industry, the rules and policies within the eyelash extensions industry is not regulated. There is no huge governing body that is legally in print that says you have to follow a certain type of procedure or a way to write your curriculum that makes it legal. However, there are some groups within different countries that help to keep the level of eyelash extensions high. And in turn, you as a trainer or a new trainer will have to keep these guidelines so that you are not ruining the industry and everyone who learns under you will be qualified. Now, if you are in the UK, it is expected that you would have award in education and training. I think this takes about a couple of weeks to acquire, but this enables you to teach after you've attained that qualification yourself. If you are in Australia, you would have what is called a TAE, Training and Assessment Certificate. This enables you to create your own manuals so you can teach within your business. It will get a little bit technical if you need to teach at a TAFE or a government accredited school. If you are in the USA, you may need licensing and you may need to have a beauty therapy certificate or license before you're able to teach. However, in saying all of this, it's still very unregulated, so you have to be careful before you decide that you want to teach someone. The third thing you need to consider is making sure that you are registered. Whatever you teach someone in terms of how to handle the tweezers, what happens if you accidentally poke your clients in the eyes, any kind of troubleshooting or accidents that happen within the training, you now as a trainer need to put yourself in a position where you're not going to get yourself in legal implications with your students. Also, after the training, whatever your student has learned from you, if they for some reason have applied eyelash extensions in an incorrect way and caused any damage to their customers, you might be at fault because the students can say you were the one that taught them how to do this application in a certain kind of way. So be careful of this. Get insured. Other things that you want to really consider if you're becoming a lash extensions trainer is, do you actually have the patience to look after students in a classroom or online? If your students are having problems understanding application techniques, removal techniques, how to hold their tweezers, how to deal with customers when they come into their business, do you have the patience to answer these students 24/7 on whatever platform you're using? Are you using Facebook groups? Are you using group channels through Zoom or webinars or chats in a one-on-one situation? You need to figure out within your own business as a lash educator whether you have the tenacity to deal with numerous students at any one time. You also need to consider how long you are going to be training a particular student or group of students for. For example, are you just going to do a day class, or are you going to do a class that runs consecutively over a week or a couple of months? For example, as I mentioned to you guys before, in 2009, I did an eyelash extension course that lasted a day. But within that day, it was probably only 5 hours. Now, I'm not bashing my trainer. My trainer was amazing. And I feel that I was a student that caught on very quickly or learned the technique very easily. So I didn't have problems per se. You now as an educator need to figure out if you're running a 2 or 3 day class, if you have a student within that class who has difficulties learning, whether they have hearing impairment, any kind of disability that may inhibit them from learning faster than the other students, how are you going to deal with that? Other things you need to consider as a trainer is how you're going to assess your students. Yes, learning eyelash extensions is a practical and hands-on type of learning. However, there are some students who are better at learning through audio or something written or just having images they can look at. To get the best results from your students, you need to qualify them to make sure if your academy and your classes are going to be successful. You wouldn't want to attract different types of students that you don't think are going to be good eyelash extensions artists. Consider how you're going to create your manuals, how you're going to answer your students, whether they need to learn everything about pre-mades, pro-mades, mapping techniques, business practices, and customer service within their own lash extensions business. Now, personally, I don't think you need to have a lot of accolades or a lot of qualifications to teach lash extensions. Now, hear me out. I know a lot of you who are already established trainers might disagree with me. However, if you have the skill and the knowledge of how to explain something in such fine details, for example, how to put a classic extension on a natural lash in a way that will give maximum retention. If you have a magical way that will enable your students to understand clearly and successfully, that's all you need. Having all your trophies and networking that people know a lot about you is good, but if you're not able to explain exactly what you're doing for your students, you might not be fit for this position. So just to recap, how do you know if you're ready to become a lash extensions trainer? Can you educate people? Not everyone has the capacity to learn the way you teach people. Why do you want to become a lash extensions trainer anyway? Is it because your salon is fully booked and you're looking for another way to inject another stream of income into your business? Or have you injured yourself, like myself? I can't do services anymore because my wrist hurt. Are you in the same position where you're not able to physically apply eyelash extensions anymore and now you want to teach the skill? Also, have you had enough experience in a salon setting where you're applying eyelash extensions and you know you're ready to teach? Another way to figure out if you are ready to teach, you may in the past have had people who inquire about you teaching and you may not have thought about it before. So it's a supply and demand situation. A lot of people may be asking you to teach them how to do eyelash extensions. Are you ready for it then? Are you ready to be contacted by students 24/7 if they have issues learning a different type of technique? Are you happy to answer all the questions? Another thing to figure out if you're ready to be a lash educator is, do you have sufficient funds to start an academy? Do you have all the funds ready so you can create your manuals, design your websites, have subscriptions like an email list to keep people nurtured? If you have teaching assistants within the class, do you have enough funds to pay those assistants? Legal aid. Do you have an accountant or a solicitor to help you within your business? All those things you have to factor in to figure out if you're ready to become a lash educator. Now, if you've gotten anything from this so far and you're still thinking, yes, I really want to become a lash educator, click the like button and also share this video with a friend if someone wants to become a lash educator in the beauty industry as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for the next one coming up.